We're back on the Lone Wolf. Got my lovely wife Liz here. Enjoyed the 4th of July. We're just getting back into the groove. Sorry we haven't been on in a little while, but we have a new guest to bring to you guys. This is a Canyon Lake local who reached out to us who wants to get some support from the community. We're here to help get his message out. This is Mr. Rich Moline.
Hi, welcome.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
Thank you
for
guys.
coming, Rich.
Appreciate it. Appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, Rich has been here in the community forever. I actually grew up with his son. Went to school, I think, all grades with the other Rich. So been here a long time. Been a local businessman and has a commercial occupancy up here at the main gate. You want to jump in and tell us what you're trying to do up there?
Yeah, so we're going to bring in a March 3rd of last year. The city put out a window of opportunity to where you could apply to open a cannabis dispensary. And at that time, we paid her $15,000. And unfortunately, we know what happened around March 17th. COVID hit. Consequently, everything was put on hold. But HDL was hired and contracted to fill out the application and start putting everything together at that time.
And what's HDL? Can you explain a little bit more about that?
Sure. HDL is a company that actually collects taxes for all of the cities. In fact, had already a previous relationship with the city of Canyon Lake. So they're the ones that collect all the property taxes, and not property taxes, but all the other taxes. And they have a division that specializes in cannabis dispensaries. Of course, legal dispensaries for tax collection. So they work on behalf of the city, and they collect all the money.
Enforce the taxes.
And they also do the auditing, because it's a very regulated industry, of course.
Yeah.
And they do 2 audits a year, just come in randomly, ensure that you're not selling anything illegal over the counter, ensure that your inventory is up to par 100%, because this is really tracked seed to sale. It's laboratory tested multiple times before it ever hits the consumer. And the products that we will be dispensing, of course, are all going to be in child-proof containers. There will be no cultivation. It's just 100% from a licensed distributor to the retail center to the consumer.
Sounds pretty solid.
Yeah. You know, we've been waiting for a long time for this opportunity because of COVID, and the city council wisely, although it was been very costly to me, because I have been renting a space in the center since July of last year, because you have to have a facility to be able to
Be considered
and actually complete an application, because of the fire, the safety, all that has to be based on the building and location that you're in.
So you've been in this building just, a year now?
Yeah.
Straight up.
A year.
With
paying
empty hands.
Empty hands.
Wow.
Yeah. The opportunity presented itself. We were supposed to have the meeting October of last year, and at the September City Council meeting, they canceled it and said they really need to have the public attend. So my wife and I, she's got a lot of stuff in our house, and we decided we would bring it over, so we created the second time around.
Yeah.
And we're actually selling stuff. But this also afforded me the opportunity to really meet with the residents of Canyon Lake, learn their feelings, educate them, talk to them directly about the expectations and what type of a facility this is going to be. Because
you're right between Sports Stop and PZA, right?
That's exactly correct.
So you get tons of traffic there too, and right next to the smoke shop.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And we're going to co-market, with Harina and the Sports Stop, Megan from the smoke shop, and Shannon and Joseph from the pizza place.
Yeah.
I want to be like an anchor, right? To where they're coming in for the cannabis and the edibles and everything like that. But this is going to expose so many people to the other shops and stores and services that we have.
Drive more traffic up there.
Drive more traffic.
Yeah.
Larry Green, at the last city council meeting where they selected the new city council person, Jennifer, he said that, what do we need to do to get people into the center? In the airline industry, they call the Midwest the flyover states, right? Mm-hmm. We're a drive-by city, right? I mean, we have so much traffic.
Yeah.
And
most of the people at the main gate are Canyon Lakers, and everybody else just drives through.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But this is the only business that would get somebody to turn left or right into the center. So clearly, it's a great opportunity for much needed tax dollars for the city. That's an obvious win.
Yeah.
But it's also additional revenue and business opportunity for the other stores and locations. This is going to create tremendous exposure for them that they currently don't have today.
Yeah, I can see how that could be beneficial. I mean, traffic's always good for every local business. You know, however you get it is however you get it.
Right.
So now you're a year into this. Where do you stand with the city and everything else? I mean,
Well, we're having our joint meeting again tomorrow at 6:30, City Hall, in the lower level, and they want to hear from the public.
Oh.
The city, you get 3 minutes, and the city council has made the statement on multiple occasions, if the people want it, we will do it. That's why it's so critical to hear from the residents of Canyon Lake your feelings. Now, in addition to meeting with customers and people that just come into the store, we also created a survey. And I didn't want it to be an ambiguous, not some, you've seen the ones on Facebook, and I've had a couple posts up there too, but the answers aren't always crystal clear.
yeah,
Did that guy really say he's for it, or is he against it, or he doesn't really know?
it has mixed emotions.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to read. So we created this survey, and I'll just read it to you. So, Canyon Lake Dispensary Survey. Canyon Lake is considering passing an ordinance that would provide for the opening of a legal cannabis dispensary in the retail center. The City Council feels it is important to gauge the approval or disapproval of such an ordinance. Name. Are you a Canyon Lake resident? Yes or no? Would you be in favor of a new ordinance that would allow a legal cannabis dispensary in the retail center? Yes or no? Reason why, for or against, email address, and phone for texting. But this
Was that who conducted that?
I did.
Poll. You did?
I did. It was on our website.
Oh, cool.
It was on our website, and then we also had forms they could fill out in person in the store. So basically, these are all Canyon Lake residents. I have another stack from Menifee and Elsinore, other people, but again, we really want to hear from the Canyon Lake residents.
Yeah,
So this is
locals.
this is the for. This is the against.
There's a lot of papers here, and not many papers on that one.
Exactly. And it's so interesting. Just go to one and read it. And it's just so amazing.
Yeah, like here's one right here. He's in favor. He says, I currently get items from the syndicate and Medcare farms. I'm assuming that most people oppose this have never been to a dispensary. They are not full of shady people like they're portrayed. They are, in fact, very nice, clean, quiet, and the opposite of what people think, which I kind of agree with. Yeah, you got a ton of...
Some of them, I had one guy write the full front of the page and 2 back pages.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I thought,
Yeah, typically, like
I thought he was writing a novel.
When somebody gives you like a something like this, you're like, oh yeah, I'm good with it, or I'm not good with it. These people are writing like paragraphs of stuff.
Yeah, it's just absolutely amazing. And while you're looking at that, I'll tell you a story. So, and there's been so many. The use of cannabis has just completely outreached whatever my expectations ever were. My neighbor across the street had brain cancer a little over 2 years ago, and they sent him home with Vicodin. He never took a single pill. He self-medicated with cannabis edibles, and for the longer lasting effect.
Yeah.
And thus he had no side effects that you get from opioids. And not only,
We have a major opioid crisis going on right now.
absolutely.
You know, and a lot of people don't realize that opioids are they're basically the same makeup of heroin.
Right.
So it's a lighter form of heroin, and I only know that because I was a firefighter paramedic for 15 years, and
Right.
I ran on plenty of overdoses. I've been there, I've done that, and I don't like opioids.
No, and And they treated him completely, and he was in recovery for a year, but he never lost his appetite. He never had any of the other side effects that obviously come from taking those kinds of painkillers.
Yeah.
And yeah,
Well, weaning people off of it too.
exactly.
Just common people like us who get, injured or whatever and get prescribed that, and you got to get weaned off. And I've seen some real problems with that. In fact, there's a fire captain I worked with who had a major problem with opioids after getting hurt on the job, and it really messed his health up. Really messed his health up. And he said he struggled with it for a long time.
Yeah.
It's tough stuff. Looks like you have a ton of support here.
Yeah.
What kind of feelings are you getting from the city and the powers to be?
Their response has been very consistent. They want to hear from the people. If the people say yes, they're going to say yes.
Then they're going to go.
That's pretty much it.
And
The city needs the money.
Yeah.
The city definitely needs the money.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Without question.
I'm a fiscal guy too.
Yeah.
So.
And the city manager will tell you. I mean, we're trying to open our own fire department. I don't know if people are aware of it, but we have less than $400,000 in total sales tax revenue in the city.
Yeah.
And last year we were down about $100,000 because of COVID, right? Because of the businesses being closed.
Being shut down.
And if you go back, the city used to receive revenue from every vehicle that was licensed in the city of Canyon Lake. But,
Really?
Yeah. But Jerry Brown, on his last day in office, clawed that back all to the state. So we lost that. And that was a significant amount of revenue for the city. And when we formed as a city, I think it was 1990, that was one of the main revenue factors that would enable us to become a city, and now that's gone.
Yeah.
And
I have a
Yeah.
quick question. Where has the city determined where the money and the revenue will go to from? Because you said the percentage of taxed on this would be pretty high. Have they said where that money would go into? Because I know we've had other speakers on here stating, different issues they have with where we put our money, I guess, as a city.
Might
Have
go
they-
into the general fund or,
Yeah.
who knows?
well, the city is pretty narrow on their focus and what they're going to spend compared to the POA.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, you got parks, recreation, all that. The city's responsible for basically the roads, police, and fire.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
That's pretty much it. So the money's going to fund the fire department, police department, and build roads. I think, no, roads might be the POA. I might be mistaken on that.
No, the city is responsible for Railroad Canyon from right there at the gym over to, I think, probably
Eastgate?
Eastgate, right there.
Okay, so
If I remember correctly.
so roads are in there. That's what I was
Just a
thinking.
little
That's
bit.
what I was thinking. But within the gates, they're not responsible for
Yeah.
those roads.
Yeah, no, that's
Right.
all POA.
That's all.
Yeah.
Absolutely POA. One of the other things that some people have a perception. Just like the person you read a little bit of what they said and how nice
Yeah.
these places are. I mean, and that's exactly what we're going to be, like a Medcare Farms and the Syndicate. These are wonderful facilities. It's like a really high-end jewelry store.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. Expensive cabinets, beautiful. We're going to have live 24/7 security. But some people's perceptions are that, there's going to be people hanging around. We're going to get people that we don't really want that element there, and that it creates a big problem for the police.
Yeah.
And Casey Castillo, the mayor, at Coffee with Casey recently asked me, well, how much policing is required for the legal dispensaries in Lake Elsinore? So I reached out to Lieutenant Reyes, who is in charge of all the legal and illegal dispensaries in the city of Lake Elsinore.
All right.
And he responded, "Hi, Rich. The Sheriff's Department has not seen large increase in calls for service and have very few issues with illegal cannabis dispensaries. The dispensaries have been compliant with their terms, and having armed security at their business at all times has helped. The only complaints we usually have are from the illegal dispensaries that are operating and are very few. They seem to bring a different criminal element. With Canyon Lake and the small amount of commercial space, I do not see this being a very big problem. Thank you, Lieutenant Jim Zralis.
He's
Lake-
lieutenant too.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow.
Lake Elsinore
You know,
Station.
I've
Patrol.
noticed we kind of already have that element up here, especially recently. It seems to be getting worse and worse from
Yeah.
I see a lot of riffraff looking people kind of coming back and forth from the
Motel.
the motel
Yeah.
over there.
Yeah, yeah.
I think maybe having more security presence might help fix that. Maybe.
Exactly, exactly. Now, the other side is, he gave me, for the last 3 years, every single call for all of the dispensaries that are open, and it's all on one page.
Do you mind if I check that out?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to see what types of calls they are.
Well, look at Medcare Farms on the top. They're a big violator. They've got 2 parking violations.
2 parking violations, huh? All right. Traffic collision, hit and run at location. So that's just an address. It was in front of the address here. I don't want to name names of the businesses.
No.
But disturbance, verbal, alarm at business, ringing alarms. We get those all the time on the fire side, not just the cop side, but business alarm, suspicious vehicle, business alarm, suspicious vehicle, business alarm. Sounds pretty mild to me.
It really is. It really is. And it's 30.
So at 6:30 tomorrow night, they're having a public hearing. If you guys are interested in helping out Rich here and having a dispensary here in town, please go down. Are they doing it in person or on Zoom, or both?
What's that?
Are they doing it in person or on Zoom? Or
They should be
both?
doing both.
Both?
It is going to
So you-
definitely be in person, because that was the whole reason we waited 17 months for this to happen.
Yeah.
I feel every day of that 17 months, believe me.
So you could jump on Zoom too. You can jump on Zoom, take your 3 minutes, tell the city what you guys want. I guess this is what it's really boiling down to. It's actually the perfect form of government as far as I'm concerned. Put the people in charge. If the people say yes, it's a yes. If people say no, it's a no. I'd be very interested to see what happens. Can we have people reach out to you directly who maybe have concerns about this or want to see the data that you've collected from the local sheriff's office?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Feel free to call me at 951-285-1418, or you can email me at rich.moline@yahoo.com. And I'll be happy to provide you with any information, any questions that you have. Believe me, I'm here to help. And I want to hear, I'm a 30-year resident, and if the people didn't want it,
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it either.
Yeah.
I'm not going to bring a business to the city of Canyon Lake that I love so much that
People are going to be upset about.
people are going to be
Yeah.
upset about.
Right.
I'm here to help.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Canyon Lake are through and through forever.
Exactly.
Now, tell us about your other business background. This isn't your first business that you've ran successfully. I know you've ran some large businesses and sold to major corporations. That's a huge business accolade. And, when it comes to businesses like this, I would imagine there's a bunch of dudes who just pop up like, yeah, I want to sell weed. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? That maybe don't have the business background that you do.
And I think that's really something that I bring to the table that is unique, because you're right. A lot of the people that are getting into this business, they've been doing illegally for maybe 10 or 15 years.
Yeah.
They've gotten some money put aside, and they find investors, and they've never ran a real business. And that was
Yeah.
one of the things that I seen. I actually had an opportunity. Again, I sold my software company in 2016, and it was one of those situations I wasn't really ready to sell, but the number was there, so I accepted it, and I've been looking for another business ever since.
Yeah.
I'm just that type A personality times 3.
I'm the same way.
I got to drive.
Yeah.
I love golf, not any
So-
good
so
at
He
is
it.
Liz.
he is
So is
that
Liz.
way,
She's
actually.
a hard charger too.
Exactly. But no, so my career background was, I worked for one company since I was 18, resigned on my 15th anniversary as a director level of an $850 million company. I opened the 11 western states for a trucking company. I resigned to open my own trucking business, and got into the refrigerated side of it. had 65 of my own trucks and brokered a lot. I had a 250,000 square foot cold storage facility and distribution center in Kansas City, and I had 150,000 in City of Industry.
Wow.
Still today, 100% of every bit of beef and chicken that goes into an Applebee's restaurant moves on the trucks that I owned.
Really?
100%. I started with Applebee's was one of
She
my
loves
biggest.
Applebee's.
I do.
You're making her hungry now.
Well, that,
And I haven't eaten today.
well, just
so.
that 9-ounce sirloin or the bourbon steak. That's
Oh.
that's it. And the chicken 68925 is the item number. But
I'll ask by item number now.
Yeah.
Because I love their
The
chicken.
Bourbon
Yeah.
Street
Yeah.
steak with the Oreo shake.
yeah, there you go. There you go. They even wrote a song about that.
I know.
Yeah. But
It's
we
become our
start,
favorite song in the house the past couple days.
I like it. I like it. I like it. But so that business I built, and then I needed inventory software for my warehousing and distribution centers, and I couldn't really find anything in the market at the time. So in 1992, I created Tracker Systems, which is a software company, Microsoft certified gold partner, and basically developed inventory control software.
Wow.
You know, asset tracking software, manufacturing software, distribution software, third-party software, casino software for
Really?
managing the inventory. Because a very regulated industry, obviously, but every single part that goes into a machine for a repair part, even a power plug, has to be tracked.
Really?
Yeah, including the SIM cards that do all of the
Yeah, I'm sure those do.
all that does, but everything, even the lights in the game, you know, like if you change it from a $2 game to a $5 game, you have to have complete historical tracking of that machine. And that's what my software did. It was inventory control software. That's the other reason I think this industry is so regulated, of course. Metric is the system that California uses to monitor. And the software that I've selected, LeaveLogix, actually will upload 4 times a day to the state of California every transaction.
Oh, really?
That's how regulated this is.
Yeah, I was just going to ask about that requirement. I didn't even
Yeah,
know there was
you can't-
one. You have
and-
to report every single sale at what intervals.
Yeah, well, you can do it, download at night, or you can do every 4 hours like the software allows you to. It just kind of depends how their servers are working, because California's kind of getting overwhelmed
Yeah.
from the technology side. But, you know, it is so regulated that, like I said, it's seed to sale, and it's tested multiple times through the lab. But these people that are cultivating, they can't dispose of a plant without documenting it. Like if a plant dies or something happens,
Yeah.
they have to track that all the way through
Wow.
until end of life. It's just absolutely amazing, the technology. And that was one of the other reasons I got into it, because obviously I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to inventory and inventory control, you know.
Let me ask you, from your trucking business background,
Yeah.
have you ever shipped liquor?
No,
No.
we did.
What are the regulations on liquor? I mean, I
Crossing
know
s-
the main gate isn't sending a report to the state of California every night of what liquor bottles they sold. You know what I
No.
mean? I think liquor is probably more dangerous than cannabis is.
Yeah.
That's just my personal point of view.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's much more detriment to your body as far as I'm concerned. We can argue that later if you guys want to, but you know, what kind of regulations do they have on that?
Well, you know, I've never been in that business, so
Yeah.
I can't really speak to it other than my inventory control software. A lot of the wineries up in Northern California ran my inventory control software to manage it. And I know there's regulations related to state lines, crossing state lines.
I see.
I know there is.
Yeah.
Taxes and volume. You know, they had to track, you know, exactly how many ounces of wine was being shipped to what destination. And because there's excise taxes,
Yeah.
and then they have to, it's just a lot of documentation.
The smaller wineries probably get hit harder. I bet the big boys have a much more streamlined process to get
Exactly.
around all that stuff.
Which is usually the case.
Yeah.
Which is usually the case. You know, you brought up a point earlier that I'd kind of like to expand on a little bit, and that is, you know, cities are going to the dispensaries. They're opening more and more dispensaries.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, the state of California is well behind their goals and objectives of how many they wanted. Because
Really?
some cities are kind of like Canyon Lake. They haven't reacted. You know, it's been legal for almost, I'm going to say 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, it's been some time.
It's
huh?
been some
Yeah.
time, and we still don't have a dispensary. And the way that the law was written, or ballot measure, whatever you want to call it, was that if you have over 10,000 people, you should allow a dispensary.
You should or shall?
Well, I'm not
What's
really
the
the wording.
wording? Yeah,
Well,
you know.
it was
We have
letting
14,
them make the
we have 14,000 residents here, right?
Right. And it also depended on how many liquor stores were in that city. But see, this was a way for them to regulate, like if you're in Anaheim, right? You know, how many can you allow? Well,
Yeah, how many can you fit?
how many can you
Yeah.
fit? You know, because there also has to be economic common sense involved.
Uh-huh.
You know, they were trying to put 2 dispensaries in Elsinore here recently within 600 feet of each other.
Yeah.
And they voted against that. Dean Jeffries voted against it because it was just too close proximity.
Sure.
Yeah, and they just added another one.
But
in
you
Lake
can have a
Elsinore.
McDonald's and a Burger King catty corner to each other. Define the free market, you know?
Good point. Good point.
Or
Good.
Starbucks within 100
Yeah.
feet of another Starbucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I absolutely see that. But my point is that you'd almost, if you ask yourself a question, and if the city council members were to be asked this question, do you think Canyon Lake will never have a dispensary? Right?
Yeah.
The odds are probably not likely.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to eventually get
Yeah.
one, right?
Yep.
So what I'm saying is now we still have the governance to be able to make a decision on who's going to get it,
Yeah.
okay? Because with only 11,000 people, a guy or a company could come in and put a ballot measure on the 2022 ticket, okay? And all you need is 4% of the population of Canyon Lake that voted for governor in the last election to get that on the ballot,
Oh.
which is virtually nothing. I've already
Yeah.
got that in my mailing list.
Yeah. You got it right there.
Yeah, I got it right there.
Yeah.
We're more than that. And that would take the decision-making completely away from the city. Because that would just say, yes, we can have a dispensary, and then you go right to the state
And
and you do your application, but they really can't deny it.
yeah.
So I'm saying while we have the governance, we want someone from Canyon Lake.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's me if I get the opportunity. Believe me, we'll make
Well,
it.
how many
make
other
it.
have put all their money on the line, rented a
There's
place?
only
and-
one, Chris Hansen,
Oh.
which is also a longtime resident,
Yeah.
and they have real estate in the center.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
where
there's
did
only
they
2
put
of
that?
us. You know, there was a window of opportunity where we had to pay our $15,000 fee. And we were the only 2 that stepped up and wrote the check.
Did it? Yeah.
So we should be the only 2 that have an
They
opportunity
get considered.
to be
Absolutely.
considered for this, because
Yep. I
anything
agree
else
with
would be
that.
completely wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Or them like reopen it or restart it or something silly like that.
Exactly.
Wow. Wow. Well, I mean, I know you had to hire a couple companies to do, or run different scenarios for you and stuff. Have they told you how many that 14,000 people should or could support? I mean, is there room for 2?
I don't think so.
No?
And I think with the economics of it, I think 1 is enough. I think one is just fine. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, we've got 2 smoke shops, and totally different business model, of course. But
Yeah.
but you know, it was kind of tough when the old smoke shop moved in.
Yeah.
Because everybody was so used to going to that one location,
They should have never
and
moved
Megan
up
and her family, you know, they invested heavily and built that other one out.
Yeah.
And you know,
It's a nice building, but
yeah, but their rent is way more expensive. They probably, if they'd have known there was going to be a second one, they probably wouldn't have taken that big leap of faith
Yeah.
and made that capital investment.
Yeah.
But I mean, they're doing great. I mean, they're wonderful,
Yeah.
wonderful people.
I try
but
to give them my business every time I can.
yeah, absolutely. So I think one would be the number.
1 would be the number, huh? Well, you got a beautiful building up there to put it into if it does turn out to be successful for you. I'm sure it's going to be a very nice place.
Yeah, the location is absolutely fantastic. You know, we love our landlords, you know, Manny and TJ, they own Canyon Lake Car Company.
Uh-huh.
And the way the setup is going to be, the front part is going to be a complete remodel, of course.
Uh-huh.
But the front is going to be the dispensary, and it will just be empty boxes for marketing purposes only.
Yeah.
The back end is going to be all the pick, pack, and process, order fulfillment, and we're going to run a delivery from the back end of the building as well. Because
Oh.
we got a big roll-up door, and really,
Yeah.
ideally set up for this business.
Yeah.
And because the ventilation, even though everything's in enclosed containers, sealed, child-proof containers, everything coming, and not even going to have scratch and sniff jars.
I like those units with the roll-ups back there,
Yeah.
all the way down. Well,
So that's our vision.
so after tomorrow, after they have the public hearing, did they tell you any sort of timeline when they're going to make a decision, or, what's the next step from here? Where do we go?
I don't really know. I believe that this is really a feasibility for us to continue as a city to go forward, get the application out, and just go all in.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I see.
So
Or
it's
if the
gonna-
people come up and they say no, and then
to
I've
square
spent,
one. Yeah.
spent an awful lot of money on nothing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, it looks like it looks like you have tons of support here. So, I guess all we need to do now is all these people who do support this idea is to come down tomorrow at 6:30, help support Rich
You got it.
or the general idea, Rich and or Chris. How long do you think that's going to last? You think it lasts a couple hours?
I would say the meeting probably a couple hours.
Couple hours. So if you guys forget and it gets late, try and jump on Zoom. Maybe we can add the Zoom link to this. If you come up with a Zoom link, send
I
it
will.
to me and I'll add it to this post. So
Okay.
somewhere in the comments, wherever you're watching this at, I'll put the Zoom link hopefully in the post by tomorrow. That way you guys have an opportunity to jump on there and either voice your opinion for or against.
Sounds great.
Yeah.
All
What do you
right.
think?
I have no opinion. I'm sorry. I was in law enforcement in the past, and so
Liz is a retired
I've
cop.
used
She used to
to-
write. She used to write tickets for people
No,
with a dime bag.
we actually when I worked, I was working one day and we had to close down an illegal dispensary, and it was a big deal, So it was a task force. I think it was Riverside County, and they were just going around.
Yeah.
And
The sheriff's
just-
really
with the
good
joint agency, so.
on keeping that stuff pinned back.
I'm not really for or against, to be honest with you. It's everybody's choice, and however they like to do it, that's fine.
Live and let live. That's what
Yeah.
I say.
Yep.
Live and let
Yep.
live, man.
Yep.
You do
So-
you. I'll do me. As long as it's not hurting me or my family, then who am I to say something about it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Just be safe about it. It's the only way I look at it. You know what I mean? So.
Tomorrow, 6:30 at City Hall. We're going to get you a Zoom link for you. Rich Moline, pleasure having you on the show. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming out.
Yes,
You
thank
bet.
you very
Thank
I
you
hope
guys.
it all works out
Thank you.
well
Have a
for
nice
you
meeting you.
guys. We love you, Canyon Lake. We'll be back soon with another guest. Till then,
The next guest is my favorite guest.
yeah.
I'm not your favorite.
Oh,
Well,
our daughter just started a little soap and candle company.
Oh,
We're trying to-
okay. Well, okay.
We're trying to
well,
get
I'll
the kids
give you
to do
that.
I'm
something
sorry,
during the
she's
summer.
my blood.
I give you that. Okay. All right. I was going to have a hurt feeling there.
We
for a
got- I
minute.
know, right?
Sorry.
Again, Rich, thank you, sir.
You bet.
Canyon Lake, we love you. We'll talk to you real soon. Jump on or get down to the city. Get your voice out there. Whether you're for or against it, I don't care. Get out there, get your voice out there. Let's all stick together, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah.
Sounds
Thank you.
great.
Thank you very much.